let's say that your organization asks you to implement your organization's virtual networking infrastructure and also to test it so as to ensure that it's working correctly. Here is the requirement. The organization has two groups of servers, web servers and management servers. Each group of servers should be in its own application security group. You should be able to RDP into the management servers, but not the web servers. The web servers should display the IIS web page when accessed from the internet. And lastly, network security group rules should be used to control network access. So this is what we are going to implement in this lab. So in order to accomplish this assignment, there are two exercises that I will perform. The first exercise is that I'm going to create the virtual network infrastructure, and in the second exercise, I'm going to deploy virtual machines and test the network filter. So let's go to the first exercise. That is where I'm going to create the virtual network infrastructure. Now, in this exercise, I'm going to complete the following tasks. Task number one, I'm going to create a virtual network with one subnet. In task number two, I will create two application security groups. In task number three, I will create a network security group and associate it with virtual network subnet. In task number four, I'm going to create inbound NSG security rules to all traffic to web servers and RDP to the management servers. So let's go to the task one in exercise one. In this task, I'm going to create a virtual network to use within the network and application security group. To do this, I'll come to the search and I'll look for virtual network. Then I'll click the virtual network. Then I'll click create so that I can create a new instance of our virtual network. So the first thing that I will do is to confirm the subscription. So I will leave it this way. For the resource group, I'm going to click create new. Then I will name the resource group AZ-500 lab 07, or let me say 02. I'll click OK. Then in the virtual network name, I'll call it my virtual network. And for the region, it's going to be East US. I'll move to the IP addresses tab. This is where I'm going to configure the IP addresses range and the subnets. For the IP address, it's going to be 10.0.0.0/sting, and that's what is actually showing right now. And for the subnet, I'm going to have one subnet which is the default, and it's going to be 10.0.0.0/24, which is exactly what is showing right now. Assuming that there's a need for you to change this, you can just click the edit button here. This will allow you to edit the subnet. And once again, you can change the name of the subnet here if you want. And this is where you will input the starting IP address, and this is where you specify the size of the IP address. Now I will leave it the way it is like this. Then I will go ahead and click review plus create. Then I will click create. So it's initializing the deployment now, and after this initialization, it will start submitting the deployment into the Azure. So at this point, I'm going to pause this video and I'll be back once the deployment is complete. So the deployment is complete. Now, in order for us to understand this properly, I'm going to use the white board to actually, sketch whatever it is that I'm provisioning so that you can understand the link, because there's going to be a lot of link, a lot of connections between one application and another application. So what I have done so far, or what I've created so far, is a single instance of virtual network. So I'm going to draw that one here. And for the name is my virtual network. That is the name of the virtual network. Also, there is a subnet. That is a default subnet. Or let me remove the subnet. Just as default. So this simply shows that we have how many subnets? Just one subnet. Let's go back to the Azure portal. Now, I haven't deployed my virtual network. The next task in exercise 1 is task 2, where I'm going to create application security groups. So I will go back to the search and I will look for application security group. Then I will click create to create an instance of the application security group. And for this application security group, the subscription is going to be this. And for the resource group, I'm going to click this and select this particular resource group. Remember, that is the same resource group where I deploy the virtual network into. And for the name of this application security group, I will call it my ASG, web servers. Then I will click review plus create. Then I will click create. Okay, while this is ongoing, let me go back to the diagram again and plot these services that I just created now. I want to plot it in the diagram. So I'm going to pick the pencil again, and What's the name? My ASG web servers. Let's go back to the Azure portal. Now, the application security group is ready. That's the first one. I will go back to the same place and I'm going to create the second application security group. I'll click create, and then under the resource group, I'm going to click the drop down and I will select AZ-500 Lab 02. Then the name of this application security group now will be my ASG management server. Then I'll click review plus create. Then I'll click create. So it's initializing the deployment of the second application security group. So while that is going on, I'm going to go back to the diagram so that I can plot the second application security group. So this one is my ASG management servers. Let's go back to the Azure portal. So the second application security group is also ready. So let's go and confirm. So this is the first one, my ASG web servers, and this is the second one, my ASG management servers. I'll move to text 3 now. In text 3, I'm going to create a network security group and associate the network security group to the subnets. So in this task, I'm going to create a network security group like I said. So the name of the network security group is going to be my NSG. So I will look for network security group here, network security group. So I'm going to create an instance of network security group and the name will be my NSG. So under the resource group, I will select the same resource group that I've deployed the previous services into. And for the name of this network security group, like I said earlier, is going to be my NSG. And I will click review plus create. Then I will click create. So it's initializing the deployment of my NSG network security group. While that is going on, as you can see, it's submitting the deployment now. I'll go back to the diagram so that I can plot the network security group. So I'm going to plot the network security group in between so I'm going to plot the network security group somewhere here. So the name is my NSG. Now this my NSG, I'm going to divide it into 3. So the first one will be the inbound, the second one will be the outbound, while the third one will be the subnet. So I'm going to label them properly. So the inbound, the outbound, then this one is subnet. So let's go back to the portal. Now the NSG is ready. So what I will do is to click this button, go to resource. Then I'll click these settings. So this is the inbound security rule, the outbound security rule, and the subnet. So let's start with the subnet. What I'm going to do is that I want to link the NSG and the virtual network. So how to do that is that I'm going to associate the subnet here to the subnet of the virtual network. So I'll come to the subnet and I will click associate. And this is the virtual network and this is the subnet, the default subnet. Then I'll click OK. So it's saving the subnet now. So while that is going on, okay, saving subnet, successfully save a subnet, and this is the subnet. So let me go back to the whiteboard and plot what I just configured now. So what I just configured now is that through the subnet of the NSG, I was able to link to the subnet, that is the default subnet of the virtual network. Let's go back to the portal. This will take me to the task 4, where I'm going to create an inbound energy security rules to all traffic to web servers and RDP to the management servers. So in the my NSG network security group where I am right now, I'll go to the inbound rule and I'm going to configure inbound rules. So the first inbound rule is going to allow port 80 and 443. Port 80 is for HTTP, 443 is for HTTPS. It simply means that it's going to be application server because that server, based on that port, can allow us to access a web application through that port. The second rule, that is inbound security rule, is going to be RDP. So it's going to allow RDP on the second server, that is the management server. So the ports that I will enable in that case is going to be port 3389. So one thing you will notice here is that there are default rules. Now, these default rules, you cannot delete them. So you can see that I cannot even click on them. The only thing I can do is to override them. Now let's examine the default rule. The first one says allow VNet inbound. This one says deny all inbound. This is the most important thing. Deny all inbound. So the way it is right now, no port is allowed. So there's no way you can gain access to any resources that this network security group is connected to. And that's what we're about to override. So I'll click add and I'm going to configure the first one. Now, for the source, it's going to be any, and the most important thing is the destination. The destination is application security group. And which application security group is going to be my ASG web servers. And which port do I want to allow? Port 80 and 443. Once again, port 80 is for HTTP, 443 is for HTTPS. What about the protocol? The protocol is going to be TCP, and the priority is going to be 100 because the priority here is above that. You are going to check it once you submit this now. The name, I'm going to properly name it. I'll call it allow web all. That's the name. And I'll click add. So it's creating the security rule now. Once again, do you notice the priority? The one that deny all the inbound that we're trying to override, its priority is what? 65,500. By setting it to 100, it simply means that this one will take priority over this one. I'll click add again so that I can create the second inbound security rule. So this time around, the destination is still going to be application security group, but another application security group. That's the management servers. The port range is going to be 3389, and the protocol is going to be TCP. Then the action is to do what? To allow it. For the priority, I cannot have 100 again in this case because it's all have to do with the inbound. So I'm trying to be very careful. So I'm going to leave it this way, 110, but it's going to take priority over this one. So the name, I'll call it allow RDP all. Then I'll click add. So it's creating the security rule now. So We have created two inbound security rules. The first one is allow web all. The second one is allow RDP all. So let's go to the whiteboard again and plot what we just configured. So the first inbound is what? Allow what again? Allow web all. And the second one is what? Allow RDP all. So the allow web all is linked to this. That is the my ASG web servers, and the allow RDP all is linked to this application security group. That is the my ASG management servers. Now, based on what we've configured, this one will allow ports 80 and 443. Once again, we know the essence of the port. 80 is for HTTP, 443 is for HTTPS. And for this one, it's going to allow RDP. That is 3389. So this is how the infrastructure look like. Once again, we have one virtual network with one default subnet, and we have two application security group, my ASG web servers and my ASG management servers. Then we also have one network security group known as my NSG. Now, my NSG, that's the network security group, through the subnet, I was able to link it to the subnet of the my virtual network. And as a result of that, the two of them can now, communicate, or they can see each other. Then inside the my NSG, I have inbound and outbound. Now I created two rules under the inbound. One is to allow web all, and one is to allow RDP all. The purpose of this one is to open port 80 and port 443, while the purpose of this one is to open port 3389. I will now move to the exercise 2, where I'm going to deploy virtual machines and test the network filters. In this exercise, I'm going to complete the following task. Task 1, I'm going to create a virtual machine to use as a web server. In task 2, I'm going to create another virtual machine to use as a management server. In task 3, I'm going to associate each virtual machine's network interfaces to its application security group. And in task 4, I'm going to test the network traffic filtering. So, task 1 under exercise 2, I want to create a virtual machine to use as a web server. So in this task, I'm going to create a virtual machine to use as a web server. So to do that, I will go to the search and I will look for virtual machine. Then I will click create Azure virtual machine. So under the subscription, it's going to be Azure subscription 1. Then under the resource group, I'm going to select this resource group, and the virtual machine name will be my VM web. And for the region, it's going to be East US. For the availability option, no infrastructure redundancy required is the option that I will select. And for the security type, I will leave it as standard. And for the image, I'm going to use Windows. I can use Windows 2019 or 2022. Let's use 2022 data center. Then for the size, it's going to be D2SV3. And for the username, it's going to be student. And for the password, I'm going to provide a password. Then I will confirm the same password. Then on the public inbound port, I'm going to make it none so that the virtual machine is not going to have any public inbound ports. Then I'll move to the disk. In the disk, that is in the disk tab, I'm going to select the disk. The disk is going to be HDD. That is a standard HDD. Now I'll move to the networking. Under the networking, I want to be sure that my virtual network is here, and also the subnet. Now, if you're unable to find your virtual network that you created in the earlier task here, that is, if it does not show under this drop down, it simply shows that the region where you deploy the virtual network to and the region you're trying to deploy the virtual machine to is not the same. So go and confirm the region, and once you're able to resolve that, everything will be in order. And under the NIC, I will leave it as none. Then I'll move to the management. Under the management, I'm not going to do anything because that's not the purpose of this. I'll move to the monitoring. Under the monitoring also, I'm not going to do anything. So I'll just leave it like this to enable the manage storage accounts. I'll go ahead and click create. That is the review plus create. So once they confirm that the information that I've supplied are in order, I will have opportunity to click the create button. Then I will click create. Now it's creating the virtual machine. Now it's saying deployment is in progress. So while that is going on, let me go to the diagram again, and I'm going to plot the virtual machine that I just created. So this is the virtual machine, the first one. So what's the name of this virtual machine? My VM web. Let me go and confirm. So let me go to the resource. This is my VM web. Now I'm going to create the second virtual machine now. The second virtual machine is going to be named my VM management. So the resource group is going to be this, and for the virtual machine name, like I said, my VM management is going to be the name. And the availability is going to be no infrastructure redundancy. Security type is going to be standard. Then the region is going to be East US. The image is going to be the same image I deployed earlier, and the size is going to be the same size. The username is going to be student, and for the password, I will name it or I'll give it a password of my choice. For the public inbound ports, I will say none. Then I'll move to the disk, where I will change the disk to standard HDD. I'll move to the networking, where I'll confirm the virtual network and the subnet. I'll move to the management, then I'll move to the monitoring. Then finally, I'll click Review plus Create. So again, it's trying to cross-check if the information that I supplied are in order. And validation passed, I'll click Create. So it's initializing the deployment, and in few seconds from now, it will start submitting the deployment. That is what is actually happening right now. So while that is going on, I'll go back to the diagram, and I'm going to plot the second virtual machine that I just start deploying now. So this one is my VM management. Now I'll move to the task 3. In the task 3, I will now associate each virtual machine's network security interface to the application security group. So in this task, I will associate each virtual machine network interface with the corresponding application security group. The my VMware virtual machine interface will be associated to the my ASG web servers. That's the my ASG web server, that's the application security group. And my VM management virtual machine interface will be associated with my ASG management server. So to do that, I will go to the virtual machine. This is where I will see the list of the virtual machines. So I will click on the first one, and here now I will go to the networking, then I will click application security group. Then I will click Add Application Security Group. So I'm going to now attach which application security group now? My ASG web server. Because this virtual machine is one of the virtual machine for the web server, so I'm going to join it to this one. Then I will click Add. Yes, it says successfully. Let's look at the successfully updated the network interface, right? Now I'll go to the second one, the management server, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to click Add Application Security Group, and I'm going to select my ASG management servers. Now I'll click Add. It's updating the network interface. Now, successfully updated network interface. So let's go back now to the diagram. So what I have done now is that I have linked this to this, and I've linked this to this. Let's now go to the task 4, where we are going to test the network traffic filtering. So in this task, we are going to test the network traffic filters. So normally, I should be able to RDP into the VM management virtual machine. And also, I should be able to connect from the internet to my VM web virtual machine and view the default IIS web page. Now that I'm still here on my VM management, I'm going to go back to the overview, then I will click connect. Then I will download the RDP file. Then I will click on it. Then I will click connect. You can see it's allowing me to supply the password now. It simply shows that it has discovered that port 3389 is enabled, and that is the function of that application server. You can see. So this is what I want to achieve. That is, that I can connect to this management server remotely. So it's configuring the remote session. This is it. So this is what I want to achieve. I just want to be sure that I can connect to this virtual machine remotely. Now let's go and test the second one. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to click on my VM web. Let me try and see if I can RDP into it. If you remember, the policy or the rule that was set under the inbound rule is to allow only port 80 and 443, not port 3389. But let's see. So I just want to confirm, or let me say I want to show you that what I've configured is actually working correctly. So it's connecting. You can see at this point it's not even giving me anything at all. The only ports enabled here is port 80 and port 443, and those two ports are for HTTP. They are for web application. So what I will do in this case is to go to the operation, operations, then I will go to run command. So what I want to do now is that through this run command, I'm going to install or enable Windows features. That's the web server IIS. So I'm going to click run PowerShell scripts. Then I will type install Windows feature name web server. Then it's going to include management tools. Then I'm going to click run. So script execution in progress. So look at this, script execution complete. And let's look at the output. Success, true. Restart, needed, no. Exit code, success. So it simply shows that everything is okay. So what I will do now is I'll go to the overview. I want to pick the public IP address of this server. This is the public IP address. I'm going to copy it. Now I'll open another tab and I'll paste that IP address and I'll press enter. Now this is the web server IIS on the virtual machine, and this simply shows that everything that we just configured is working perfectly. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing to this channel. Please let me know what you think in the comment section, and do not forget to leave a like and share this video. See you in the next one.